Thank you so much for joining us again for Day 14 for More for Life campaign. We had recorded an episode of the radio show earlier today, and the day is past if you're listening to this on demand, but we're going to do it again, and we're talking about the authenticity of your service as you prepare to run your campaign for life for more. And I want to say thank you to all of you that have been supporting us on Spreaker, Ustream, iBroadcast TV, Voicecast, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and beyond. This is the Coach's Corner. Stand by. As we move forward in your campaign for More for Life, we realize and understand that there is one central rule. The central rule is that you must stop playing games and play the game of life. And in the game of life, we realize and understand and embrace one central common theme that runs through everything that we do. And the common theme is service. The way up is service. The way through is service. The way around is service. The way back to the principles of the matter, back to the sensibilities of the matter, back to the foundation is service. But in the service that we have toward our fellow man, there is a test. The test to see whether or not that service is authentic. I must confess and admit today, right here, right now, live as well as on demand, that I have found my service, though intentional at best, suspect. How does our service, or how can our service be found suspect? Because we're often found doing and not being. Hence why there is very high defense mechanisms in our personality as we exuberate what we will and what we won't take, because we lack the skills to resolve conflict, because hidden within our consciousness and hidden within our hearts are issues unresolved, which makes our service not credible. You see, the intent of what you meant is never good enough. It is only when we become more authentic from the inside that our service has more edification on the outside. One particular example would be Jesus would tell the Pharisees, well, there ain't no sense you going around, for y'all don't mind me using a little slang and Southern English, ain't no sense you going around trying to convert somebody to believe like you believe, because if they're going to believe like you believe, what will happen is they will be worse than what you are. They will be worse than what you are. The service that we so salute and compliment is under a fiery test. And oftentimes service can be buried, and the authenticity of the service may be there, but you have, or I have, negated to use that as the common thread to campaign for more for life from the inside out and not from the outside in. Such is the case on the Eastern Seaboard. While they're talking about Sandy Hook or Elementary with the tragedy that happened in Newtown, Connecticut, let's not forget about the Eastern Seaboard where folks' houses were blown off the foundation. Folks' lives were threatened, still no electricity. We don't hear about that story anymore. I wonder how those folks are doing. But some of those folks had buried the common thread of service. And due to circumstances unbeknownst to them, which may or may not appear within the next decade, may take a long time to see that again, or maybe not. With the environment going haywire, there's no telling what we're going to see. Folks are still arguing whether or not global warming. It doesn't matter whether you believe something or not. It doesn't change the fact that the atmosphere is changing. Hello, somebody. But the point of the matter is this. On the Eastern Seaboard, service has come to fruition. Folks that were in the Marines, in the Navy, Army, Air Force. Stories were shown how they gathered and made a unit and went out to accomplish a mission. It's funny how that common thread was reborn under the auspices of calamity and catastrophe. Well, this is the common thread that we need as we campaign for more for life, as we campaign for change. If you ever want to get out of a jam, if you ever want to see something turn around, you serve. And this seems to be a lost art in the past 2 to 3 decades. It's always about me and mine, hidden agendas. And if I serve, what will I get? And I did serve, so you owe me. Or some people use it as a croak, as a manipulative tool to get their way. Well, I serve you, I help you, I support you. So that means I get a license to do what I want to do, to say what I want and not to hear anything that I don't like. Service, the common thread for more. Service, the common thread for better. Service, the common thread for advancement. Service, the common thread of achievement. Service, the common thread of success. If you want to be great, serve. But know this, that your service will and has been tested. To test whether or not, the test is for the ingredients of that service. For the Christian listener, there's a scripture that says, serve the Lord with gladness. Well, this will continue to authenticify. I don't know why I get tongue tied on that word. This will certify. This will confirm your service if you serve with the purpose of being glad and not with the purpose of getting your way. I wonder is authenticify a word? Probably not. You got a lot of people that like to move around too much, and they call that service. Well, I was just helping. Then I had talked about in the earlier show that never showed up on the radio show. Imagine that. That too many of us are just serving to escape the pain of being. I felt that right there. Service as a keep me busy so I won't have to deal with no issues service. Service that says keep me going so I won't have to stop and listen to my conscience say something's wrong with me service. Service that keeps my hands busy and my feet busy and my ears in other folks' business and my mouth on other people's problems and my eyes seeing the beam in other folks' eye, so I won't have to seeing the mole in other people's eyes, so I won't have to see the beam in my own eyes. Service that has not been tested. Service that failed the test. Service. It's almost like when you go for your admissions test for those states that have admissions tests in the United States of America. I remember seeing a whole list. In fact, over in North Carolina, there is a test. When you go for admissions over in North Carolina, let me tell you something. They're going to test everything. They're going to test your tires. They're going to test certain parts of your engine. I mean, they don't do like Georgia. They test some of everything on your car. I mean, it's probably about 26 or 30 things on that list. And as you go down the list, it may say X, Y, and Z, pass, 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 fail, 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 pass, pass, fail, pass. That's your service right there. Most people in today's society don't even know how to receive service. Our broadcasting network works to always serve the community. We advertise people. We promote people. We teach people. We motivate people. We inspire people. But you wouldn't believe the stories that I have encountered as a broadcaster and as a network producer, just trying to celebrate people. Reminds me of the words of Jesus. When they come for your life, you might want to say this: no man takes my life. I'll lay it down for you, but you ain't going to just walk up in here and take it. No man demands that my purpose is their purpose, but you want to give me some insight, I might be willing to listen. I might be able to listen, you see. These are the things we must consider as we go for more, for life, for change. And I use myself as an example because, as I had said in the earlier show, that for some reason didn't register, even though we saw the meters going. I don't know what happened to that, but I did something that was great and good and effective and impactful and influential for 20 years. I did something that worked for 20 years. And I might add, it worked for others and it worked for me for 20 years. Service. I had the common thread part, but I forgot that my service was going to be tested. There's another scripture, I hate to keep going back to that, but there's one that says your work is going to be tested to see if it's gold, to see if it'll rise to the top, or if it was wood and stubble. Are you supporting that church because of popularity and it seems right and it's in the interest of your children, or are you serving at that church because you are indebted to a God who loves you and believes in you? And this fellowship matches your talent pool and your interest as to what you contribute to the whole of the corporate vision there. Same way with the company. Are you at that company because you can get more money? You can sneak around the back in the booth somewhere, and you can get keep getting paid per hour, or because your salary you can skate by. You ever had a job where you could stay on that job forever because you could skate by and nobody ever really figured out how you didn't get stuff done? And all you did was just skate by. But then you went and volunteered for the Boy Scouts and you wonder why your life's still upside down. You know what I'm saying? Your service really it doesn't even mean if you're paid or not paid. That's a whole nother conversation. Can't find a job, get busy with service. Catastrophes just happen, you want to get healed quicker, get busy serving. You're broken heart. It doesn't mean you're going to not be able to face your issues, but as you serve, service is the massage parlor of success. Service is the medicine of successful infringements. You know, when you're doing well and then all of a sudden crap happens, service pulls you out. Service is also a weapon, a strategic weapon and tactic in relationships. See, that's where a lot of folk get in trouble right there. I'm going to spend my last few minutes right there. I got you right there. See, service in a relationship. See, that's what really love is. Love means I'll lay down my life for you. Now, hey, the coach has got a long way to go. I'm just saying. See, I ain't talking about nothing abusive now. I ain't talking about no crazy crap. I'm talking about what real love says. Real love says I'll lay, and then you hear in the news these awesome stories about how somebody's son got murdered, and the family said through the news conference that they forgive the family, and they visited. I saw one story where the family that was the victim visited the murderer in prison, and how the murderer's life was changed. My God, service, the common thread. That's authenticity to the max. You mean to tell me a family suffered the loss of a child and they get and tell the whole world that they forgive them? You mean to tell me they go see the murderer in prison and the murderer changes his life? That is service. That is service. So in our For More for Life campaign, what or why are we serving? If your service hasn't been delivered out of being, your service has not reached the plateau of a final test. You ain't even hit the midterms yet. You still need some studying because your motive is off a little bit. You see, our motives are off, and we deny a lot of criticisms because we're not retrospective as a people, as a culture, as Americans. We wait for something bad to happen before we do that. We're not introspective. We don't reflect. We have to be moved with calamity to reflect on the good that we can do for others. We're so busy being pretentious. A certain amount of pretension is needed to survive things, you know. But it's temporary. It's temporarily so. Pretension was never meant to be permanent. Pretension was meant to be a survival tactic, not a survival lifestyle. See, you smile when you're hurting. You say it's okay when you really could complain, but as the old janitor said in the school, he walked through and the teacher said to him, well, Mr. Billy, how are you? He says, well, I can't complain. Well, he probably can't pay his daughter's college bill, and maybe his wife may be having some ailment, or he may be having some ailment, but he smiles through it anyway. See, he smiles through it anyway because he's wanting to have that final grade on his service thread as being an A+. See, that 20-year venture that I was on, I went in prayer and I asked God, what is my destiny? What was I called to do? What was I chosen for? Even though I was successful, impactful, influential in the papers and on television, doing interviews, helping others make thousands of dollars, and then when the project was over, I'm broke. Why? Because I could do it for others, but I couldn't believe and do things for myself. So I overcompensated. Oh my God, my time is gone. I overcompensated and called it service. I need some help right there. I overcompensated and called it service and double dared anybody to call it differently. until one day I woke up and I realized I am out of my league. And the final test of the course of service for that block of time in my life was this. Lord, why didn't you tell me this 20 years ago? I said I couldn't. Your belief system needed improvement. And I had to wait till you were broken enough to give you more insight, more wisdom into the knowledge that you've acquired and the experiences that you have lived. And now you're ready to do some purpose. Now you're ready to do some destiny now. Because you know it's not good enough to be in fact impactful and influential and powerful and result driven and mission oriented. But it's more better to be authentic. If you can, follow me on Spreaker. Why don't you do it? I'll see you next time.
You're listening to SIBN Radio on the Select USA TV iBroadcasting Network. You're listening to SIBN Radio.